Hello and welcome to this Jaguar XK8 Central Air Vents Repair video. This is video 120 in our series of XK8 videos. In this video we're going to show you how we repaired the damaged central air vent links with wire, tape and 6 M8 nuts. The tools we used were a very basic trim tool, 6 M8 nuts, which I'll explain in a moment, a pair of scissors, a pair of long nose pliers, a flat screwdriver, some insulation tape, some wire and a soldering iron, plus either we used a Stanley knife, but you can use a Dremel cutting tool. Now I'd like to credit at this point To The Garage and John Dee's video which inspired my repair, and there's a link to his video in the description of this one if you'd like to take a view at John's. The repair in the end is the same, but the way we get there is slightly different, a bit easier. The repair wire specification is the same as John used. It's a 0.5 wire. It's a galvanized steel wire. I actually use Florist, a rose stub galvanized wire, but there's lots of other wire available on the internet. The video in this case is broken down into 6 sections. Section 1, flat problems. Section 2, removable of the assembly. Section 3, disassembly or breaking it all down. Section 4, the wire and nut repair. Section 5, the reassembly of the whole unit. And Section 6, refitting it into the dashboard. If you're watching this video, you're obviously interested in Jaguar XKRs. If so, might I suggest you click on the top right hand link to be taken directly to our YouTube channel. There you'll find lots more Jaguar XK8 content. Whilst you're there, if you press the subscribe button, you'll be linked to our channel. Press the bell icon, you'll be reminded when videos are become aired. And if you watch a particular video, you can click the thumbs up if you say you like it, thumbs down if you don't. And if you have any questions or comments, we'll reply as soon as we can. In the meantime, enjoy the current video. Okay, section 1 then, flap problems, or the problems with the flaps. So in our particular case, the vertical flaps had come loose, and when you turn the little or push the little handle left to right, they weren't engaged. If you see the left hand side here, this wasn't broken at the time. If you use the little handle there, move left to right, up and down. But on the right hand side, it'd move up and down, but left to right, half the vents weren't engaged. You can see inside, they're all moved away from the assembly. If you're interested, the part number for this is GNA 6770AA LEG, the one with the little thumb wheel for the heat and cold vent option, and it's without the LEG for a normal vent without the thumb wheel heat option. If you look from the back then, you can see there's a horizontal link linking all the vertical straps together. On the left hand side here, the final 3 flaps have come away from that link. You can see the little locations there at the bottom, and the flaps have actually come away. So my idea was to actually then try and with a simply with a pencil, this didn't work by the way, is to actually align the flaps together from the back. This is after I'd actually done it, and then with the pencil push that link against the flaps to make them re-engage, and that did work temporarily. Well, there was a short-term solution, but when I actually was attempting to fit the whole thing back into the car, I noticed the horizontal flaps are broken on both sides. So just with manhandling the unit, those horizontal flap links had actually broken up. And it turns out it was in John's video he explains this as well. It's a weakness in the design of those horizontal and the vertical links. There's these little sort of legs that come out that grab the flap hinge points, but at the back it's scalloped out, and it's very, very weak section, and it's quite easy to break through. And albeit my vertical links weren't broken when I actually started the repair, in actually manhandling, they broke. So they'd obviously been weakened, but they're a very, very weak design. And the main cause of this initial cause was a mobile phone car holder with these sort of duckbill catches that slide over the back of the vents and can interfere with those links, push them off. They overstress the flaps and they break those links basically. So my advice is don't use mobile phone holders that grab into your car vents unless you're keen on taking it out and repairing it. Section 2 then, removal of the unit. I'm not going to talk about the central veneer changing or removal. I've already covered that in detail in video 119. If you want to see how I did that and how best to take it on and off, take a look at that video. After you remove the veneer, it'll look like this. You get a clear look at the central vents and the 3 clocks in the middle, or possibly your sat nav if you're lucky enough to have one. The vent itself is located with 8 clips, 4 at the top there, and 4 at the bottom, or the top, bottom, whichever way I was up. So it's very, very easily just clipped out, and you can unclip it with your plastic trim tool, get it under the edge, and just pull it out. And it literally is as simple as that. There's not a lot holding this in other than those clips. When you've got it so far out, you'll notice the wiring loom. If you've got the little dial on, you'll have a wiring loom attached. You just need to pull the wiring out from inside the dash there, revealing the electrical connector. You then basically undo the anti-rattle foam and you can unclip it. You just press the clip on the side on the left and just pull the socket out. It's very simple stuff, standard electrical connector. And you end up with your central vent unit or air vent unit out. Very, very easy. Section 3 then, disassembly of the unit itself. The unit is actually plastic welded. In order to get it all apart, you need to get the wiring loom out of the way, which is on the one side, and then get a Stanley knife or a knife or even a Dremel tool as John Dee used in his video, and you need to score across the top of each side of the vents and the same at the bottom. It's not actually plastic welded on the sides, so you just need to run along the top and the bottom of both sides of the air vent. This will actually release the top, and then you can remove the clips by hand and remove the heater selector, making sure you mark C for the hot end and H for the cold end. In my case, I wasn't sure whether it located by little pokey pins or whatever, but just to be sure I mark them. And then you can actually remove the inner moldings that are holding the flaps in place. You need to depress the 2 tabs, arrow with the small arrows there at the front, and there's a pair at the back, and those inner moldings actually lift out. And you'll see something like this. This is after I've repaired it, but you'll see the 4 flaps just sitting in little grooves in the bottom of the front molding. We got to about halfway, or halfway-ish. If you're liking the video, please press the thumbs up. It really does make a difference. Section 4 then, the wire and nut repair. This is where the big difference comes into John's solution and mine in actually aligning the flaps while you're putting threading the wire through. So the pitch between the flaps is 10mm. So in John Dee's video, he makes a little wooden jig. It's quite innovative, but I didn't want to go to all the faff. I haven't got a lot of wood around. I've burnt it all in lockdown, and I was thinking of ideas of things that I could maintain a 10mm spacing. So in my box of nuts, I find the M8 nuts. The height of those they're about 6.3mm tall, and when you sandwich them in between the 2 flats, you get a pitch of approximately 10mm spacing. It's pretty much spot on. Particularly if you wrap them in a little bit of tape that helps protect damaging the plastic, but also helps pack them out a bit. So this is where the repair difference the repair difference is. It's basically the nuts are freely available, and you don't have to have any skill in making a jig. So off I go. I'm going to actually show you now physically how I actually did it. It's quite a long stretch of the video, this, so please excuse me. So you get your nuts, wrap them in a bit of tape. I've already done the other 5 to save time, and then you make a little stack. The 2 nuts, get your next flap, which is the one with a little handle on. Get another bit of tape and tape them all together. There you go. Attach those 2 together. Get the other nut in there and tape that in. And there you go. Quite easily, you can see how long it took to do. So very simple, and you've got your 10mm pitch. Grab a length of the wire, and you can start threading them up. The beauty of this idea as well is that you can build it up. You don't have to clamp all 4 together, so you don't have the things interfering with each other. And off camera here, sorry about that. It does get better, honestly. You got better access to wire them all together. So I'm just threading the wire through the first initial loop. It will come back in camera shot. There you go. And tidy it up with my pliers, getting the tension on the wire. Yeah. So I've got the grounding point one end now, and then I start to thread the wire through. There you go. Pull that tight. Then send it back around again to form a loop. I think at this point I'm going to add some music and let you listen to the music as I finish it off, because it's basically the repeat from this point onwards. So there you go. We've actually got it all together, and it should be a picture about 30mm with just 3 pitches there. Is it? Yeah, near as damn it 30mm. So it's a pretty accurate way of doing it. Obviously it's not perfect, it's not a machine jig or anything, but it's something most people can do if you've got some basic tools and 6 nuts. You don't have to make a jig, as I say. I've de-skilled it, I'm sorry John. And you've simply, now when you've got it all tensioned up and you're happy with the wiring, just cut away the tape to release your nuts. I know it sounds a bit bad, but I'm trying to do this as quick as I can to make the video as short. I have got some other videos in the pipeline. This is part of my set of videos where I'm changing the dashboard from carbon fibre wrap to the walnut. I'm doing loads of repairs. I've actually loads of little tangents end up going on fitting LEDs in the next thing, and then I think I'm going to I've got a video on the instrument rings. I've got aluminium and stainless rings, so I'm trying to do a video about the differences and fitting the 2 types. So lots of stuff in the pipeline, so keep watching out for them. So there you go. That's the whole thing rewired, and as John says, it's quite a robust fix, and you just drop that in the front molding, making sure you put the links to the left hand side, as that's how they were originally fitted. They are very, very fiddly, and the handle, you need to it does stick out a bit, so it makes it a bit more tricky. So we'll move on to the one I prepared earlier. So here we are. This is with the 4 horizontal flaps in and linked. I think I maybe could have done a prettier job, but it does function quite well. Thank you, John, very much for that idea. Section 5 then, reassembly. So once you've got the vents in there, you need to put the vertical set of flaps in, and that unit just drops in, as we say, and you need to engage the 2 tabs. Bit of a point note, make sure you put the right one in the right side, because it will make a difference, because they'll be cut off slightly differently, as I found out to my cost. After messing about for a quarter of an hour wondering why the back wouldn't go on, I got them in the wrong side. So a bit of a top tip there, make sure you put that bit in the right end. Left or right hand side, whichever one it came out of. So quite happy with that, that's how they look. They don't look too out of place. Don't forget to refit the 8 clips that holds those little mouldings in, as I did. And finally then you can put your heat selector back in, the 3-position heat selector, again making sure the hot goes with the hot and cold goes with the cold. That just slides in the middle there, and you can basically put the black plastic back on. Again, I had some difficulty in doing this because I had the central moulding in the wrong side, so it didn't actually match up properly. It took me half the night to figure out why it wasn't all going together, until I swapped them over and it went together beautifully. Something like that. So there you go. Then finally you just have to remelt the plastic. It is thermoplastic, so it will remelt and reseal, and it's literally as simple as this. I suggest only doing the top and the bottom, as you've got here, along the top and bottom face. Don't do along the sides, it can be more difficult to split them later if you have to do it again. Plastic melts and solidifies very easily, creating a new bond between the different plastic components. There you go, reasonably tidy job, I thought. Don't forget to reattach the flap links. You've attached the back moulding as well as the front in that little area there. Make sure that's reconnected, otherwise you're going to struggle to open up the air vent itself, the main flap for the flow. Reattach the wiring loom as it was originally attached. And then section 6 then, refitting the whole unit. You need to reconnect the wiring loom, obviously. Make sure the anti-rattle foam is attached properly again, because you don't want any rattles in the back of your dashboard. Poke that back into the right hand side aperture, into the open space there, and then you can literally just push it back in position. Literally as simple as that. Those clips will engage. But one point of note, you need to make sure the top little dowels, plastic dowels, are engaged, as they're not here. I'm just testing the vents. I haven't seen that the dowels haven't engaged. Everything looks lovely though now. Everything works. Wow, very happy. But as I say, make sure those top dowels I was circling red there are engaged fully, otherwise it will be in the wrong position. It won't be pushed fully home. Then fitting the central veneer back on is very easy, but again, it's covered in video 119. Take a look at that if you're interested. So there you go, 6 section flat problems, the removal, disassembly, wire and nut repair, which is essentially the major part of the video, reassembly and refitting. Again, I'd like to credit To The Garage and John Dee for his fantastic idea of linking them all with wire. And I hope you appreciate, John, the slight difference in jigging, which is a little bit more easy and simple. Thank you very much. Please give a thumbs up if you liked it. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.